Namo Buddhaya, welcome back boys and girls. So today boys and girls, I thought of changing our topic from Jataka tales to a very popular topic that's taking place especially in Sri Lanka. Have you heard the term organic farming? So everyone's talking about organic farming these days and converting from chemical farming into the organic farming. Why is it so important to you? So boys and girls, there are 5 trades or businesses that has been prohibited by the Buddha. So let's look at what they are. So the first one is, boys and girls, weapon, like making weapons. So what do we use the weapons for? Killing each other, right? So Supreme Buddha prohibited that one. The second one is, boys and girls, slavery. So like you have heard human trafficking. Like even kids have been removed from their parents and put in different places as slaves. And the third one is trading animals for meat. So that's something the Buddha himself had prohibited as well. So the fourth one is intoxicating drinks and drugs. You know how harmful these intoxicating drinks and drugs are. So that's the fourth one. And last but not least, the fifth one is the toxins and poison trade. So today's topic is related to that. So organic farming is all about not using chemicals which are harmful for all beings, not just for humans, even the tiniest creature on earth. So you must be wondering how these things are like relevant to us at Buddhist, especially the beginners. So boys and girls, there are 5 precepts which we have to follow as disciples, as lay people. So the very first one is abstaining from killing beings. So in Sri Lanka, if you have ever gone to a farm, or if you have seen people, spraying, like holding cans on their back and spraying, so all these chemicals would kill all the beings, even the beneficial microbes, because the microbes are the thing that helps to nourish the soil, which is very important when it comes to cultivation. Also, boys and girls, our great teacher, the Supreme Buddha, praised the environment. Buddha spent most of his life in the forest, like dwelled in the forest and embracing the nature. So that's the other thing, because when we convert into organic farming, it protects our earth, it protects the nature, which we love so much. So, but I don't know everything about organic farming. I don't know in every detail how it benefits us as humans and the environment. To help us understand that, I invited a very special guest. Let's meet him. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
So we have lots of boys and girls who have heard this term organic farming, but they're not aware what exactly organic farming is. What is organic farming actually?
So organic farming is a system that doesn't use any artificial chemicals, either as fertilizer or as pesticides or weedicides. Instead, the organic farming system uses a lot of ecological, nature-friendly alternatives.
So we know that like for so many years, like not just Sri Lanka, throughout the world, people have been using chemicals for cultivation, and so that's the only thing that has been implanted in our minds. So without chemicals, you cannot cultivate, you cannot get a good harvest. So why all of a sudden converting ourselves with organic farming? What's the importance of converting into organic farming?
So first of all, we have been using organic farming for centuries. What we can remember over the last 50-60 years, through Sri Lanka and rest of the world have been using this chemical and fertilizing and pesticides and things like that. But now I think everyone has realized the dangers or the repercussions of chemical farming, chemical agriculture. Let's look at few examples. Our soil, you might hear this in media, our soil is dead. What does that mean? Is mainly the acidity level of our soil has increased quite a lot. Those who learn agriculture for their education, the boys and girls may know that the ideal pH levels for good agriculture is between 5.5 to 7. But because of this chemical usage, most places our soil acidity has increased. The pH is below 4.5. Some places even below 4. So that's one problem. And the other problem is, most of the chemicals, especially nitrogen we use in chemical fertilizer, don't get absorbed into the plant. About 70 to 80% of that nitrogen gets leached into the water. So goes and pollute our groundwater. In fact, it's said that in Asia, Sri Lanka has the second most polluted rivers because of these chemicals, which have
usage, right? Heavy chemical usage.
Heavy chemical usage, which have been contaminating our water. And if you look at the air, you may know that carbon dioxide, we know it's a greenhouse gas, it's dangerous, right? But you might be surprised, the nitrous oxide which gets emitted from these chemicals is 300 times worse than carbon dioxide. Yeah, so those are the problems, issues in chemical farming, which we have realized now. That is the reason that we all have to move back to our good organic cultivation systems, organic agriculture. But again, don't think that we have to go back to our traditional ways of doing that only. There are a lot of new technology which have been used for organic fertilizer, even to make fertilizer.
So boys and girls, I don't know about you, but I had no clue about what our special guests were talking about. Why is it so important for us to convert into organic farming? So we understand, yes, it's benefiting for the nature. Yes, it is protecting, like our rivers, our water system. So how is it related to Buddhist practices? Like how does it, help us protect the precepts? Because our first precept is abstaining from killing beings. Would you mind helping us understand how does it relate to protecting the precepts?
Sure. As you mentioned in your introduction, right livelihood. One of the trades prohibited for the disciples by the Buddha is trading in intoxicants and poison. So, as we discussed earlier, chemical agriculture use a lot of poisonous toxin as fertilizer or pesticides, weedicides, etc. As a Buddhist who's trying to practice the Dhamma, it will be very difficult if you are in that value chain, either as a fertilizer company or a trader, dealer, or someone uses those fertilizer and other intoxicants in the agriculture. It will be difficult to do, one side. The other side is pesticides, right? We see a lot of pesticides have been used whenever there are some insects harming the agriculture. But what are you essentially doing is willfully killing all these. In organic agriculture, there are a lot of preventive systems to prevent the insects from coming into the field. So, that way, those two ways, you can really, as a disciple, adopt the organic agriculture methods and keeping your precepts, and also be happy that you are following the right livelihood.
That's right. So boys and girls, I hope you understood how organic farming is going to affect us as Buddhists, especially the beginners to Buddhism, to protect your first precept. So boys and girls, I'm sure you have heard and read in the newspapers that like every day you hear people dying out of blood cancers, and like there's like spread of chronic kidney disease in the northwestern province of Sri Lanka. So does it have any is this a cause, like usage of chemicals has anything to do with this diseases spreading so fast in Sri Lanka?
Yes, so there are a lot of scientific evidence that there's a direct relationship between these chemicals and some of the diseases we see these days, especially the chronic kidney disease, certain types of cancers. diabetes type of diseases. Last year in US, one of the chemical companies sort of admitted and agreed to pay a huge amount, about $10 billion, to the victims or cancer patients who had who that particular cancer, blood cancer, had a direct relationship with the chemical that company had been using. So those things now come to surface, not only in Sri Lanka, worldwide. There's a direct relationship with these diseases, with the chemicals. So these days, we all know about COVID-19. Scientists have found that there's a direct relationship between the immunity and organic food, meaning, the chemicals we use in our normal day-to-day food impact our immunity levels negatively.
So of course we understand all those benefits and how we can protect the precepts as well. But people are so like they're protesting, especially the farmers are protesting, like saying things like the organic fertilizer is not going to work for them. Like without chemicals they will not get a good harvest, and like so many different things. So is it true, like is organic farming, and then there's another fear they have is that there won't be sufficient food for the country. So is this true? Is this something that will impact because of organic farming?
No. So that's a misconception. Those ideas are there in the society because of lack of awareness and education about the dangers of chemical farming and the advantage of organic farming. If you look at the world, there's a lot of demand for organic food. The growth rates in that industry is increasing like nothing. And then at the same time, conventional food is losing its demand in the world market. So as a country, if we can embrace these organic practices, as a result, at some point, if we can get our products certified as organic, it will open up a lot of doors in the international market to sell. And also, it's a known fact worldwide. Organic farm is more profitable and can give higher income to the farmers compared to a conventional farm because of the organic premium and low input costs, etc. The people who are protesting or encouraging those protests are probably the people who benefit from the chemical farming, chemical fertilizer industry. So I think we have to be smart to really investigate and understand the reality without getting caught up in these talks by vested parties.
So boys and girls, that last thought reminds me of something. Does that remind you of something? Something we learned in our first episode, Apannika Jataka, the blameless path. So do you remember that Bodhisattva, when he was on the desert with thousands of cartloads, when he saw the demons disguised as humans with beautifully flowers and eating lotus roots, he did not believe what he saw, and he did not believe what he heard. Instead, what he did was he investigated, because he knew there's the right path and there's the wrong path. So without knowing the facts, we shouldn't jump into conclusions, right? So boys and girls, this is a classic example that we can relate to the qualities which has been developed by Bodhisattva and apply the same qualities into our lives in order to lead a very successful life. So I hope you all learned something new, and you learned something very scientific and something that's relevant and very important to all of us as human beings. I will see you soon, boys and girls. May you all be well and happy. May the Triple Gem bless you. Namo Buddhaya.